What's up, guys? Antoine here, Culture Matters. Hey, continuing part 2 of the 3-brain system for overcoming objectives. So last video we talked about the reptilian brain and the functions that the reptilian brain performs, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to elaborate on, we talked about forming the agreement, which was the first step in lowering the reptilian brain functions. All right, to get you past that closed door, someone's closed-mindedness. So you're forming an agreement by using keywords and sayings that let the person know that you understand them, where they're coming from. Now, to move on into the next step, once the reptilian brain is lowered, now you can move on to the steps in the sales process. I hate the word sales, it's so cheesy. You can move on in the process of authentically communicating your ability to solve someone's problem by forming an agreement, one, and the second step has to do with the limbic system in the brain, the reasoning section of the brain, the frontal lobe, okay? Now, what this section of the brain is going to do is going to elicit emotion and reasoning. So, we know the customer has a pain point, right? Something that we are calling them to solve. So, we formed an agreement with the client or the customer. Now, it's up to us for the second portion here to arouse an emotion through empathy. We want to empathize with that person, okay? So, hey, I understand where you're coming from with that, and I totally see, your viewpoint on X, Y, and Z. Now, if I were you and I was going through this situation of X, Y, and Z, and my problem was A, B, and C, now I'd be looking to, this is where you're going to arouse an emotion, okay? You formed an agreement, you understood where they're coming from, okay? You're empathizing, putting yourself in their shoes, and now you're arising emotion through describing the things that they go through daily due to the lack of having your product or services. So, you're forming agreement, you're empathizing, okay, which is the two basic principles that are needed to overcome any objections. So, form an agreement, empathize, and move on with the questions that must be answered to know if you can solve that person's problem. So the 3-brain system is lower the reptilian brain by forming an agreement, activating the limbic system, the frontal lobe of the brain, which deals with reasoning and emotion. So you want to put yourself in their shoes to empathize with them, which empathy invokes an emotional response. And now you lead them to the logical reasoning of how your product is going to solve their problem. So, form agreement, empathize, ask questions to qualify that person and to lead them in the chronological, logical order of how you're going to solve their problem. So, 3-brain system, guys, culture matters. I love yous all. Check us out, www.culturemattersuniversity.com. Keep a lookout for us on the internet. Have an amazing day.